Hello again, guys. Welcome back. Wanted to dive into the JS plugins folder once again today. And actually these were plugins, that I was going to cover originally as my next JS plugins video. But what's your name? MacGyver699 sent me a message on my last video telling me about the Sonic Anomaly plugins, which I have been using for quite a while, although when he said Sonic Anomaly, I didn't realise who he was talking about because I've had them as Stiga T, as they were called before. So now they're called Sonic Anomaly, but they're the same plugins that I've been using on my bass guitars for years, the last couple of years anyway, since I found them. We have a web page for them here. Let me bring it up. So this is them, Sonic Anomaly. I mean, this is their website. So I've just got cramp in my leg. Anyway, too many hours sat at the desk. I'll put a link to that in the description. But they've got a load of plugins here. A lot of them are to do with surround sound, transient shapers, podcasting. I think a lot of these are based on like vocal, spoken word kind of compressors and levelers for voiceovers, etc. All kinds of stuff. The Slacks, LA2A kind of thing. Then we've got some more surround sound processors, voila, vocal, optimized leveling amplifier, etc. Bass Professor Mark II and Bass Professor that I'm going to go into, and Scope. So lots of different things there, both JST and VST. Not all of them, but I think most of them are either or whatever. So you can check this out and download what you feel you want to. I have in my library the Bass Professor Mark II, Bass Professor, and the Slacks. These I use on a regular basis. They are really cool plugins. Now, the two Bass Professors, please don't think that one is an upgrade from the other just because it's called Mark II. It's actually two different flavors. This original one, the Bass Professor, is more of a what would you call it? Coloured flavour. It's more to put onto a DI track to give yourself some kind of impression of an amp sound, so you can create some kind of distortion and, etc., and saturation. So it gives you more of a feel of an amp. But it has the same built-in 4-band leveler, although the other one's got 7 bands. This has got 4 bands internal leveler, which I'm assuming is the same as the other guy is, that it's a multi-band compressor. It has a built-in limiter, etc. Okay, there isn't a manual that comes with this one, so I'm kind of guessing a little bit going by this guy because this one has got a manual that comes with it. So what we have here is a 7-band representation of the input. This is the level meter at the bottom. We have Professor is an overall amount of the compression, etc., that's applied from within the plugin, because we have actually got a 7-band multi-comp in there that handles all of these 7 bands initially. Then you have your kind of EQ where you can boost and attenuate certain bands, and then you have an overall compressor that kind of controls everything. We also have a transient button here, and what that does is it slows the attack time of each of the multiband compressors and allows more transient through to give you more of an impression of punch. Handy little thing. It's subtle, but it can work in certain situations. It'll give more an effect than on others. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on this one because this is the more complicated of the two bass processors. And if you kind of understand this one, I think the same kind of working principles apply to the other one. It's just that the other one gives you more of a character kind of thing going on. It's more to colour a DI than this one is. This one's intended when, like how I'm using it, if you've got a mixed signals of an amp and DI, where you can multi-compress, or multi-band compress, sorry, and, you know, control your signal in a clean way if you've already got the dirt coming in, but you can add a little bit of dirt if and when you want to, okay? Well, you've seen from other videos, my other bass recording video, I always use decapitator on a send track. I've switched that off for now. So we're just using this is my amp track and this is my DI. Okay, but I'm sending them both into a bus. So I've put this guy on a bus. So that's where we'll be working it from. So let's head up to the Bass Professor Mark II. Now, like I say, if you understand this, it's got 7 bands of indication on the way in, whereas this guy's only got 4. But I'm sure this all works in a very similar way. So if I kind of go through the signal chain, we've got the meters of the input level. This is what it's showing as your input levels. This guy's like a level meter down here, or I think it's the compression. Sorry, it's the gain reduction meter. So it goes through the meters, then heads into a multi-band compressor, which levels each of the bands. I think it tries to equalize out each of the bands internally. We then head out through these, we'll call it EQ kind of controls. We also have the low frequency or high pass, low cut, whatever you want to call it. Then we head into the dirt option, which adds in some distortion to the signal. And then we head on out to the output. Now, in amongst all that, we have this profess slider here, which basically adds how much overall processing we put onto the signal. We also have down here is a transient button. Now, what this does is it slows down the attack time of each of the multiband compressors, so therefore allowing through more transients to give a bit of a punchier sound. Okay, so if we just do a little quick sound example. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take us out a solo and listen to it in the mix, okay, because you can't really tell. Hopefully you'll pick this up within the YouTube thing, but you can't really tell with it just individual. So let's just listen to it outside of the mix. Let's bring it in. Straight away it kind of rounds things out. Let's just bring in big difference. Bring it back in. Okay, so as you could see, as I was adjusting up and down this profess knob here, you can see that these are actually gain reduction meters. So these are showing the gain reduction for all the 7 individual bands of the multiband compressor, and this is the gain reduction of the overall compressor or limiter, however it's set up. So as you can see, as I turned this up and down, the gain reduction went up and down in accordance. And I guess there must be an automatic gain adjustment within the plugin. So we just play a little bit more and we can play with that and just show you. So as you could see there, as the gain reduction went up and down on the individual bands, as it went up, as there was more gain reduction on the individual bands, the less amount of gain reduction was on the overall compressor, and vice versa. So interesting. I'd love to know what happens internally in this plugin, but it's way beyond my technical knowledge. All I know is it gives me really nice bass sounds, and I love it. So I hope this is useful for you guys. I hope it's hope it's helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Actually, next one, I want to say very quickly, my good friend Jennifer Sexel has redone my whole website for the studio, etc. I need to do a list of equipment that I've got here, but problem is it changes so much, and I'm still growing the recording studio, etc. So I'm buying stuff all the time. So what I might do next video is a little, let me know if it's something you would be interested in seeing, but a little tour or a little go through all the bits of gear and mics, etc. that I've got here to use, and a little show you the live room, show you, but let me know if that's something you'll be interested in. But that might be a way to go in terms of filling the list up, because there's so many things to think about when it comes to creating an equipment list, But anyway, thanks guys. See you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.